Welcome, everybody. This is Colin Masson. If you're joining a little bit early, we will get started at 11:30 Eastern Time. This is the Ask the Expert session for Manufacturing a Resilient Future with the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing. It's a follow-on from yesterday's breakout session where we announced the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing preview. So we'll get started in approximately a minute. So one more time, as hopefully lots of people are joining us. If you're joining us, you're joining the Ask the Expert session on Manufacturing a Resilient Future with the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing. We are scheduled to start at 11:30 Eastern Time, and so we will be starting in, just going to allow 1 minute for us to get critical mass, and then we will get started as we only have 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay, we're 1 minute past, so I'm going to kick us off. Welcome to the Ask the Expert session for Manufacturing a Resilient Future with Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing. If you're joining us today, here's our agenda. I have to get through some things just on code of conduct, etc. I'll do some quick introductions to the experts that we have on the call today, and then I'll open for Q&A, and hopefully we'll get to as many questions as we can, so I won't spend too much time on the front end, and then we'll wrap things up with some closing thoughts. Ask the Q&A box, use the Q&A box to ask questions. Those questions we'll try and look for trends and patterns, because we're expecting a lot of questions. And the ones that we actually are answering, we'll move ahead with. Our experts will answer verbally. It's just the format of this particular session. The session will be recorded. I'm going to show the code of conduct. You've kind of agreed to the Microsoft Digital Event Code of Conduct by virtue of joining the call. And we do ask you to be respectful and adhere to that, and don't spam us with promotions of your own products, etc. We had a little bit of that yesterday. I'm not going to read it out, but here's our event code of conduct. We're not going to tolerate any harassment or discrimination, but looking forward to a open dialogue over the remainder of this session. So let me just recap quickly and set the stage. If you've joined this to ask us, but you maybe have been watching a lot, hopefully, of sessions over the last day or so. So yesterday we introduced the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing preview. It was the next in our series. We kind of announced back in February that we were going to that we were working on the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing along with the other clouds, industry clouds that we've already announced. Since then, we've also moved ahead from preview to GA in a couple of our clouds. We've also introduced Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability. And as will become apparent over the next couple of slides, and then in the Q&A, really there's a lot of common elements. We're really building on a platform of trust and compliance with the Microsoft Cloud. What we're doing here is really bringing together lots of Microsoft capabilities for modern work, intelligent business applications on a hyperscale foundation of infrastructure and platform as a service capability. We're enabling digital and app innovation with our partner ecosystem. I think we'll get a few questions on that as well. Of course, as we're really providing a way to really bring the massive amounts of data that are being created by manufacturers together and actually add some intelligence and digital feedback loops to that data. And as we'll see, major blocker for the digitalization in manufacturing has been concerns around security, and we'll also, as we announced yesterday, that's one of the things that we're trying to address. Again, I want to be brief here, but we kind of introduced what was shaping and driving the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing. We went over that yesterday. Chalian kind of talked through these points, and he had Johnson & Johnson on hand to actually illustrate what they were doing with their next generation manufacturing. And so we had a very rich presentation component from them talking about next gen manufacturing, which illustrates the kind of forging ahead that we've seen and the doubling down of investment in smart manufacturing that we've seen over the last 18 months, and in fact in the last year, an acceleration of that investment. So that was one of the things that shaped what we announced in the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing capabilities for preview. That digitalization of manufacturing has created an explosion in the amount of data. I think on the slide right now, you're going to see some nuggets of how much that data can be with these investments in smart factories and all of the connected products that manufacturers make. They're out there in our everyday lives as our homes and cars and cities become smarter and smarter. We also talked about the importance of the partner ecosystem, particularly in manufacturing, where industrial automation partners are prevalent in every factory, and in the supply chain, you've got a whole ecosystem of partners that are needed to deliver manufactured products to their end user. And so whatever we do with Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing, we want to make sure that we're co-innovating with our partner ecosystem. And then we had a lot of discussion as well in the session yesterday on supporting remote work or hybrid work, and particularly manufacturers' customers and their desire now, particularly with the scarcity of people and skills, for manufacturers to provide always-on service for which they need remote connectivity and to be able to support remote assistance and remote work, in addition to what happens in the factories where the frontline worker still needs to get to the factory, but supervisors and engineers can increasingly support them remotely. And then that security concern along the bottom. So as you'll see in the, I think it's my last slide in the next slide before we open up for Q&A, but that security theme underneath there, that where we really need to make sure that we can accelerate the connection of devices, whether they're in the factory, in the warehouse, anywhere along the supply chain. And of course, if we are providing that remote service to customers, that needs to be secure as well. And with that, this is kind of what we think a slight variation on what we showed yesterday, but we did announce the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing, and this is perhaps slightly more detailed version of the slide that we showed yesterday. So I think I've touched on most of the elements. Along the bottom there, you'll see we're talking about building on a foundation that includes data models, connectors and APIs, and enables that rich partner ecosystem that we have, particularly in manufacturing, to co-innovate with us. And we have all of these capabilities built around a data platform where we are connecting securely, both on the edge and into the cloud, devices that are needed to create the digital feedback loops. And then you'll see a number of the capabilities around the wheel are focused on leveraging that data and providing insights, whether it's through operational visibility in the factory or that extended supply chain visibility. You'll also see elements where it's not just about automation and digitalization. We have a number of capabilities that are focused on empowering that new era of hybrid work. And then you'll see we're laying the foundations for really digital twins and leveraging digital twins, not just in designing new products, but in use in factories. And we have supply chain digital twin, for example, in the supply chain visibility component here as well. And activating digital selling and always on service are capabilities that we're talking about as well. So meet the team that's going to answer your questions. Myself, working on the industry cloud, Valerio, who I suspect is going to answer a lot of questions because he's working with us with engineering on delivering the on defining the set of capabilities that are in preview, and we will rely on him for any questions on those capabilities. Severin, who's will talk about how customers can engage with us and how we proceed with technical delivery. Next slide, please. I've got a couple more members of the team. I guess I need to advance the slide. There we go. So Daniel works with me on the go-to-market for Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing. He's looking at your questions coming in, and Ward is looking at questions that may be coming in from partners, and they'll either respond directly or they'll feed those through to myself and the team to answer them verbally. So with that, I think I'm going to leave this slide up as we open up for questions. So let me see if I have any questions coming in. Okay, I see a few questions starting to come in, but I'm going to start with you, Severin. So there's a number of interested parties. I think it's a mix of, but a number of customers asking about getting access, right, to the one or more of the capabilities that are on the screen at the moment. So perhaps you can start with that one while I look at the other questions that are coming in, and then Valerio, I see I've got one for you straight after that.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Colin, for the question, and good morning or afternoon, everyone. Yes, if you're interested in the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing and the capabilities that we're now showing on the slide, the first thing we advise you to do is to go to Microsoft.com/manufacturing to express your interest and provide your information. Also, you can go on aka.ms/Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing. It will bring you to the same page. Also, what we advise our customers to do is to engage with the account teams, the Microsoft employees that are in constant collaboration with them to make sure that they discuss their interests and the capabilities that they're looking to engage in.
Sorry, I'm on mute. I should know better than that, right? And I was just saying, Valerio, this one I think is for you, but let me just paraphrase it. How? What if customers see one or more of the capabilities around that wheel? I mean, do they have to take the whole thing? Or what if they're just interested in one, like asset productivity, or which may be a factory manager is watching and he may just want that one, or there's a VP of supply chain who we know they all want supply chain visibility. So it may be different parts of the business have different priorities, but they don't want to consume this whole thing. It looks rather intimidating if you look at all of those capabilities, right? So over to you, Valerio.
Thank you, Colin. This is a great question indeed. So Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing is made to be composable. So we want to meet customers where they are in their digital transformation strategy, and we want to enable them to start with the higher priority use cases. So all of this has been seen as a composable set of capabilities. So customer will be able to start to adopt different capabilities independently from each other. Of course, synergies over time can happen at any time, as many platforms that are composing, technological platforms that are composing such capabilities are intentionally. An example is you touch base on asset productivity. Both asset productivity and always on service are composed of the Microsoft Dynamics 365 field service platform, in example. So synergies over time, as the adoption growth will grow, will be able to capitalize on that.
Okay, another one for you, Valerio. And so I think that was more of a customer-focused question, but here's one, and it looks like it's from a partner, and they're asking, they obviously saw the Solution Center in the Satish's portion of the presentation yesterday, and they are asking, how do I access the Solution Center or orchestrator for the manufacturing cloud? Is there any further detail on the Solution Center? Yeah, I think that's the gist of that question. Yeah.
Thank you, Colin. Again, great question. So we need to distinguish a little bit the horizons. So now what we are announcing today, yesterday actually, is the preview of the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing. And the Solution Center is indeed the orchestrator that allows simplified deployment for IT administrators. And during preview, we will be able to discover and provision only first-party components. However, the situation will evolve over time after GA and onwards, and there will be work in order to spotlight partner solutions that are built on top of the manufacturing cloud directly from Solution Center as well. And that will be an ongoing conversation, ongoing evolution of the overall platform. But if we look at the snapshot of today, that will be for first-party capabilities only.
And I guess it's a follow-on question. I think we've triggered a number of questions from partners, Valerio. What does it take for ISVs to connect to the manufacturing cloud? How can they certify their solutions for it?
Great. So first of all, and this applies for all partners, we strongly suggest to channel their request towards their partner managers or partner development manager, because we are running a program in order that will allow partners to build on top of the manufacturing cloud. There will be a certification program that is not established yet that will be coming for GA, and in order to allow partners at the right time to build on according to their engineering cycles to build on top of the manufacturing cloud, whether it will be that on data models, on connectors, or the different type of forms.
Okay, great. A question, I think not everyone has seen the session yesterday, right? So I think a few are asking about, is it available for replay? And it's a great session. I think not only did we go a bit deeper on the first few slides I used, but a great session with Johnson & Johnson talking about their next-gen manufacturing and how they were leveraging some of the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing capabilities. So that is BRK228, and it is available on demand. I don't know if Daniel, you or Ward can post a link to that session for the folks, but it is available on demand. Severin, let's see. I think this might be a good one for you, Severin. There's a question which is really, is it all about platform and tools, or is there more customer value than then it's just another infrastructure cloud here. So maybe that's a good general one for you to answer while I look through a host of other questions. So over to you on that one.
Yeah, thank you, Colin. It's not only about platform and tools. There's a lot more to that. There's a lot more to the manufacturing cloud than just the platform. Of course, the platform is a given. Tools that we already have today through our platform or service offering, they're all given. However, we're bringing all the best of our first and third party in this Microsoft platform manufacturing to really start thinking solutions and solving our specific customers' problem in the manufacturing space. So there is more beyond that. And as we go through our preview, we're going to be communicating more with our customers about those different capabilities and solutions that we're looking to enable. So back to you.
Yeah, and maybe it's a good follow-on. I've got one for you, Valerio, which looks like it's going to be more on OT and data historian. So I'll just cue you for that one after Severin answers. I think there was a question on, is there any new first-party capability in this set of capabilities that they can see on screen at the moment? So that might be a good one for you to jump in, Severin. And I'm going to cue you on. I know that there's at least one big chunk around supply chain visibility that's was also announced yesterday. So maybe you can tackle that while Valerio has a chance to look at the OT question.
Yes, Colin, please. What is the question on the
question? Really is there any new first-party capability as part of Microsoft Cloud for manufacturing?
Yes, there are some new first-party that we announced yesterday, and I will let Valerio deep dive into those as he speak next. There are some new first-party, but the next question, the next item that I see, maybe in the same question, Colin, was somebody was asking about availability, and somebody was asking about availability. What I would say is there is no, we are still discussing that, and general availability right now is not yet announced. And as we get to general availability, we'll tell you more about where those services are going to be available.
Okay, thanks, Severin. I think for those that are interested, yes, there's some capabilities like supply chain insights is powering supply chain visibility in the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing, and there are separate sessions at Ignite. Again, I'd ask if Daniel or Ward can perhaps post something to one or more of the supply chain insight sessions. So that's, but also Valerio will shoot me if I don't mention all of the great Teams integration that is across the in asset productivity, that's in obviously learning and knowledge management is powered by things like Microsoft Viva, but we've got integration of mixed reality and Teams in always on service as well as asset productivity. We've got AI powering a number of the new capabilities around the wheel here. So yes, it's a blend of some of the capabilities that some of you may have seen before, but really the solution center that we showed yesterday is showing you how we're bringing lots of these things together and enhancing the integration and the ease of deployment across the wheel. And that may lead on to this one for you, Valerio, because I think we have a general question. I think it's coming from a partner, Ward, looks like, but you know, other people, other competitors or partners maybe announcing industry clouds for manufacturing as well. So what differentiates the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing from those other announcements?
Yeah, thank you, Colin. So great question. So the core value of the manufacturing cloud is to provide a composable layer for customers and partners to build value on top of that. So if we look about what's specific in the Microsoft space of the manufacturing cloud is, first of all, we are unifying our three clouds. That's the way we have been positioning so far. So we have built on top of our hyperscaler cloud Azure. We have a PaaS offering. We have a productivity suite that is Microsoft 365, and we have the Dynamics business application platform. We are unifying that stories into the high value industrial scenarios. So that is the first things that we are doing. The second thing is that we are gluing together the value that we are bringing with the unified data models and common data models underneath that. And the third component is that we are enabling the partner ecosystem, so the ISV solutions, as well as the system integration layer to deliver such capabilities, to take that goodness and bring that value to our customers, and to extend for the industry-specific scenarios, whereas sub-verticals or other very specific scenarios where we need to go and expand our reach with the great ecosystems that we have been growing over all these years. So these are the foundational components of our offering, and that's where we stand in comparison of other partners / competitors.
Okay, and as a OT question, I promised I was going to ask, but is there anything in the cloud? This is for you, Valerio, I think, but is there anything in the cloud for that, and where is it, increases OT connectivity and perhaps anything around data historian? I think there's maybe a little bit more in that question, just looking at some of the others, which is really more edge and cloud, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to maybe take that more broadly. Yeah.
Sure, great question. So first of all, when we speak about OT and OT connectivity, we have been investing heavily since many years with our Azure IoT platform, the Azure IoT Edge platform, and our investment in the community with the Open Manufacturing platform with BMW. And a growing ecosystem of customers and partners. So we know very well the distinction between IoT and industrial IoT. We have been doing a tremendous efforts to grow a partner ecosystem over there and to align our alliance with the industrial partners. When we speak about manufacturing cloud, that's why we are showcasing as partners in this preview stage industrial player like ABB, Aveva, PTC, and Rockwell Automation. So this is where we are bringing the goodness of these platforms that have been co-growing over these years, and we are going to exploit the benefit of this great partnership that we have. So within that discussion, we can there are some highly specialized discussion about historians. That is where we are leveraging capabilities of our partner ecosystem, and is definitely one of the data that we are targeting to unify as we grow this.
Okay, I think we just lost you the last part of the sentence there, but that's okay, Valerio. I think we got the gist of it. There's a cloud. I think maybe one of the last questions we may have time to take, but there's a question on ESG reporting or environmental, social, and governance reporting. They see sustainability in our wheel as a theme that we're pushing, and certainly elements of our supply chain. I think where a lot of influence on sustainability, we can have a huge impact both in planning and optimization, obviously in the cost savings and everything that we can deliver, reduction of waste through asset productivity, and a number of components around the wheel. So sustainability has been a key theme for us in manufacturing, even our tagline, right? Manufacturing a resilient and sustainable future. But I think it's more a specific question really on environmental, social, and governance reporting. So I don't know if you have a comment or response there, Severin.
Yeah, Colin, you said it. It's again, sustainability is it's foundational to everything we do at Microsoft, but also that ESG reporting is an integral part of our sustainability cloud. So yes, we do that through our sustainability cloud, and we keep sustainability, security, and compliance at the center of our dealings in the Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing.
Okay, one very pointed question, Valeria, which is the product twin capability based on Azure Digital Twins?
Definitely, but not only. So when we speak about product twins, there might be more around that, and it is exactly the strategy around Azure Digital Twins.
Okay, great. And I know we're going to have more to say about digital twins beyond the preview, but yes, there is a foundation there of Azure Digital Twins. So good observation, whoever that is. I think we're running up against time. I don't know if we have flexibility to go a bit longer, but we'll continue to look at the questions that are coming in, and I'm sure there's going to be let's see, have we got anything left? Let's see. No, I think that's about it. I think we've hit most of the main themes, a lot of partner interest. I will just kind of end with, if you go to aka.ms/cloud for manufacturing, that'll take you to Microsoft Cloud for Manufacturing website. You will see, and actually our blog is featured there as well. You'll actually find some good video demos of a few of the capabilities. I think we've put the spotlight a little bit on asset productivity, learning and knowledge management, supply chain visibility, and always on service. I think there's 4 quick showcases around those specific capabilities that are in the preview. You'll also find details of partners. I think we have 10 partners listed in the announcement blog. Again, I hope, Daniel, you can post those. All right, I think we're out of time, so let me wrap things up, but I would point you at the blog and the website to get more. Thanks very much for your time. I think I've said that a couple of times, but you go to the Cloud for Manufacturing link that you see on the screen right now. And we'd love to hear what you thought of the session. We like to try and keep these short and concise, but give us your feedback at the ak.ms Microsoft Ignite evals. I think you're doing that for all of the sessions. And that about wraps it up. So thanks, everybody. And I thank my fellow moderators and speakers. Thanks all.
Thanks all.